Hello everyone, welcome to GW Pro Trading. It's Gwyn Michael here, and in today's video we're going to be looking at market overview. We're going to be looking at overview for the period of 28th November to the 3rd of December. And in this video we're going to be looking at overview. All right, we're going to be looking at points of entry where we can start taking trading decisions, and also we're going to be looking at points of possible win. All right, I'm going to be making sense of whatever is happening. All right, last week we had rather an eventful week, and we also saw towards the end of the trading week we also had it that we had more risk off mode than risk on, and that also reflected, we also saw that reflecting on certain currency pairs. We also had it that most of the risk on asset were down. All right, that also reflects with more of, we also had that USD JPY was actually down on the day. That also reflected because of the JPY strength. We also had it that Euro USD for Euro towards the end of the session gathered a little bit of momentum, and that was only against USD. But if you look at the Euro JPY, we also had it that Euro JPY was also dropping towards the end of the session. All right, so this was on Friday, and also had it that Euro JPY was also dropping on Friday against, all right, had Euro was dropping against JPY, and we also had it that GBP was also dropping against the yen as well. All right, so that also reflects more of the yen strength, and we could also attribute that to risk off mode, right? That's risk off mode in the market. All right, so if you go ahead and watch my previous video which I spoke about risk off, risk on, okay, you would understand that this also will reflect on GBP AUD. We also see that this one will also be going up and also reflecting in all of this. All right, in all of this we'll have the Euro AUD going up, GBP AUD going up, Euro NZD going up, and Euro AUD going up. So most of the pays with those risk on asset will be going up. All right, so you're going to have that going up, and you're going to see this reflect too as well. And this Euro NZD up. All right, the whole of the week, Euro AUD up, Euro NZD up. So we had more of a bullish close to the end of the session on Friday. All right, so we had also an increase of 1.63% for GBP NZD. We also had it for Euro AUD. We also had weekly change of 1.72%, and we also have a weekly increase of 0.93% on GBP AUD. And we also had it reflect on Euro NZD. We also had 2.93%. That's way big a move, right? That's way big a move. And on a monthly time frame, we can also see that we've moved 2.65% on a monthly scale. All right, so let's just go ahead and start as usual. I'm going to be looking at the dollar index, which I call the King Dollar as well. And I'm going to be sharing with you all this. I'm going to just bring up King Dollar here, and then I'm going to share with you. We start from King Dollar. All right, we start from King Dollar because I personally want to share with you what my view is on King Dollar. All right, and if you go look at my previous videos, you're going to see that the 97.83 was maxed down on this chart a long time ago. Probably, if you look at my last 4 weekly analysis, when price was inside this territory, you would see that I had this line marked out. All right, you can go ahead to those previous videos and then check it out. I had this line marked out because I was looking at a possibility of the dollar index moving from this area of the 89 to the 97, right, or some territory around this point. Then before I can then start to see possibilities of bears coming in and then trying to push down. All right, so this is point where I expect supply. All right, I expect supply to set in, and I expect the demand in this territory here to fade out right here. All right, I expect that to fade out right here, and you can also expect that that could also play a bigger part on most of the USD correlated pays, probably the Euro USD, GBP We can also expect that that could also be weak, and we can also be seeing much of a down move as a result of the USD strength. Okay, and we can also expect that JPY as well also proved very difficult. All right, because but for this current trading week, we also had a lot of fundamentals coming in, and towards the session we also had it that a new strain of COVID was also found. All right, so we had it that a new strain of COVID was also found, and that also created risk off mode in the market. All right, so we had also investors wanting to take some profit at one point and then be cautious. Right, we had that cautiousness come in the market, and we also had it that also reflected with the S&P. We also had one of the major drops on the S&P as well. It was a massive drop, right? It was really a massive drop. We also had it that we had minus 2.67% drop, right, on Friday, also reflecting as well on majority of the stock market as well. We also had it that the US 30, also known as Dow Jones, also dropped massively, minus 3.08%. Wow, what a drop on a single day. All right, if you look at here, the rating this candle with the last, I would probably say the last, I'll probably say the last 1,000 candles. All right, so 1,000 candles, apart from this very candle here, right? Apart from this very candle here, which also happened back in June. So the last time we had this bigger drop. All right, that was June 11th. We had that bigger drop. All right, this is so big a drop. All right, we had the last drop June, and we also had that fade out a little bit, and we also had price continue to the upside. All right, but however, this drop here, I want to see the momentum. I want to see the selling pressure fade out. All right, from this one here. All right, which could also take some while. All right, also take a while, say 3, 4, 5, 1 week, 2 weeks before that completely fades out. All right, the supply energy there. All right, and we also see that reflected on a lot of stock market. All right, stock also reflected as well on this. All right, and we also had it that the Nasdaq also dropped minus 2.21% on Friday. All right, that also reflected in a majority of the cryptocurrencies as well. We also had it that BTC fell from a very good high as well, from 59k dropped to 53k. All right, that also reflected part of the fact that we might want to be seeing profit taking ahead of Thanksgiving. It could also be one of the causes, all right, and we might also have investors wanting to take profit. All right, however, with that said, let's just go ahead and see also what also we could have with the market in general. So we're going to be looking at some major pairs. All right, all right. So we're going to be looking at some major pairs to start this session. I'm going to be starting with the USD Swiss francs. All right. I did speak about this for some time now, and also spoke about that I want to see push to the upside. All right, I want to see this completing. All right, and if we could expect that this is a corrective wave, All right, say we could also be having an ABC on a monthly time frame, because we're on a monthly time frame. Say we could be having an ABC. I want to see a little bit of the C leg push above this point. All right, but however, I'm going to read in price action here differently if price will turn into reversing from this point on downside. I'm going to be looking at the possibility that price could also want to contract a little bit of inside here, and if that happens, we can also be having that price could also explode either to the upside or to the downside. However, we're going to be looking at taking a little of positions here. Also, if price would then break to downside, we want to sell stop somewhere around here, or look for selling opportunities below that point there, or look for bullish opportunities if price will want to break to the upside. However, that is not decided, but however, on a medium term, right, we're going to be looking at this one here. So however, this correction could also extend above the previous high, which is of this territory. All right, we can also have this correction still continue in order to create a new leg to the upside, and that could also create an A, B, and then the C. All right, so you can also have that also continue before we could also look for selling opportunities. All right, so we're going to be looking for where we have possible supply. All right, we're going to look for where we have possible supply, and we could also identify that we also had possible demand instead of this territory here. So this territory here created the very first demand here. All right, however, also demand also flashed into this territory here, so we also had a little bit of demand instead of this point here, because we can also identify that during the drop we also had price reject and then move from this point upward. All right, so we can also expect that demand is here. So whatever is happening here, we also had supply right in here, but however, this is a downtrend. Okay, so this is a downtrend, and we're going to be looking at this as a downtrend. All right, so whatever is happening here could be a corrective wave on A, B, and a C, and then we could be looking at price either to continue to the downside, or we could look at price could also want to expand. All right, we can also be seeing price may also look to expand. All right, price could also look to expand, say inside of this territory here. Could also move up and then maybe expand around this territory, and then we could then look for new possibilities. But however, we're going to be looking at a medium-term opportunity for this one here, and we're going to be looking at taking a trading decision as well. All right. Also, we had price continue to move up in this fashion here after creating this impulse correction. All right, we had price drop here into what I would say is the D territory, because I'm looking at this as not completing. However, I want to see price either to test the previous high, which is also the previous supply in this territory, which is going to be inside of this area of the 0.943 area there. I'm going to be looking at price to test that zone. All right, so what I'm going to be doing for this one here, we also have a possible D territory. All right, so I'm going to just adjust it a little bit so we can then have a possible D territory. So we have a possible D territory, and we're going to be looking at whatever would be happening inside of this territory. We had a possible C, so we had what could also be a rejection of this high for last week. Okay, so if we go ahead and put up a line there, we could see that we have price reject this territory. It's a territory that every trader should not ignore. All right, because it's more of a rejection. It's a rejection, and it's massive. We had price spearing through that structure and then making a breakdown. So however, in the last 2 weeks, we had price test and bounce off, test twice and then bounce off this territory. But however, we are in a medium-term bullish trend. I will still look at this as a medium-term bullish trend, because however, this is an impulse correction impulse. So this could also be termed as a corrective wave, and then I could look at then price to explode to the side as well, or continue to make further advances as well. So we could be looking to have higher high, higher close on a daily time frame or weekly time frame, and that could also continue into the B to testing this territory of the 0.944 area. All right, I'll look at 0.943. All right, so I'm going to be looking at that also happening. So we're going to be looking at points where we're going to start looking for trading opportunities. All right, that's what we're going to be looking at in this session. All right, going down to a lower time frame, the daily, we have not been able to identify possible areas here, but however, on an H4 here we have reasons to be able to take trading decisions. All right, so one of the areas I'm going to be looking at here, I'm going to be looking at this as, if you go back to my previous video, you're going to see that I looked at this as a wave 1, and then I looked at this expansion here, which I also spoke about, as a wave 2. And this could also, however, when I'm looking at the Elliott wave, all right, I've looked at the Elliott wave as one that could change, all right, over time. All right, there are no how to put it, there are no defined pattern in the market. All right, so you can actually be having a wave 4 instead of this, say 3, 4. All right, and due to the rules, all right, so we could be having a complex 1, 2, can be having a simple 3, 4, and we could be having a 5. But however, this could also fit the bill. All right, but however, price should not break below the origin point or the price territory of wave 1. All right, I'm going to be looking at this territory here as price territory. So what I'm going to be looking at, I'm going to be looking at some bit of reversal pattern. All right, say we have an inverted head and shoulder inside of this territory, because this is the 61.8 Fibonacci retracement area. So I'm going to just go ahead drawing this territory as our possible liquidity zone. So I'm going to put it up here as usual. What I do most times, or when I'm coming out to do analysis, I like to put points and areas where I want to start looking for opportunities. All right, because those areas there is going to give you one of a high probability trading entry or position. All right, so I'm not going to be looking at taking a position right around here. All right, because this is not a demand zone. I will not. I want to be taking trades where I have the wind at my back. All right, because that's where the smart money is. All right, you don't want to be leading the way for the smart money. You want to be seeing the smart money give you one of the valid entries. Say we have an inverted head and shoulder here in this territory here, could also be an indication of bullish entrance. All right, so we have a little bit of contraction inside of this territory here, and we have something that could look like a breakout, then that's a bullish entrance. All right, that's the smart money. All right, you want to be seeing footprints, you want to be seeing smart money drop footprints, and then you're going to be following those footprints. All right, so I want to be seeing price drop into this territory. Only at this territory here will I look for bullish opportunities. All right, so I'm going to be doing that for the whole of the week. I'm going to waiting for price to drop into this territory. However, I'm going to wait. If price will drop hurriedly into this territory to break this territory, then I'm going to be looking at this as a reversal pattern, and then I could look at this for price to head lower. All right, so if price would spear into this territory and break this territory in a hurry without a reversal pattern, I'm going to be looking at this as a drop to downside. Whatever is going to happen inside of this territory would be a pullback of this impulse, and then this could also be a corrective wave, and then we could look at price then dropping to the downside. All right, so you want to be reading price action in such a manner, because if you look at this compared to this drop, all right, this is a corrective wave. All right, but if you look at the component of this wave, this is rather more impulsive than this. All right, because if you look at the angle here and the number of candles it requires to form this lens of price travel in a daily time frame, you will see that this looks more impulsive than this. All right, so if we have price hurriedly clear this range without breaking any previous high, then I'm going to be looking at this as a drop to downside, and whatever reversals will come inside of this territory will also continue to take price downward. Okay, so I'm going to be briefing you guys what is going to be, and we're going to be looking at this together in the week ahead. All right, so look at a little bit of also the USD JPY as well. Okay, for USD JPY, I could really look at this and then say this is a contraction. All right, I would look at this chart here and then say this is a contraction. All right, this is a contraction and this is a breakout. Okay, this is a breakout. Whatever is happening here, might also be having a pullback of this into this area in order to seek for liquidity, in order to clear this range, because this is a very important area here. But however, understand that sometimes we might have price make move to the upside, pullback could also turn reversals. All right, and we have price pullback in that format to then move to the upside. However, Some certain technical analysis or some certain fundamentals may also hinder price or demand at this territory to make push to the upside. However, we might also have price might also drop a little bit and then push up a little bit and then continue to the downside. However, this could also turn a complete reversal to the downside rather than a bullish continuation. So if we have this move up and then continue to fall, then we'll look at then price being back into territories such as this one in order to seek liquidity. All right, so I'm going to be going down to a much closer time frame to share with you guys on this one here. All right, so we're going to be looking at on a daily time frame. We also have it that we have this B territory here, because I look at territories. All right, when I'm looking at taking trade decisions, I look at territories. All right, because those are going to be where you're going to be looking for opportunities. So here we have huge amount of supply here. All right, we have supply right around this territory here, and I want to see price indeed clear this territory. So on a monthly time frame, we have it that price did come into that territory, but however, price is not trading above that zone. All right, price is not trading above the 113,800 yet. All right, we can't really say that price is indeed trading above that territory, because this is a liquidity zone. All right, it's a supply area. All right, it's a supply on its own. All right, so we want to see price trade and then clear the supply. All right, so definitely if the supply here is stronger than whatever demand that was created here, then we might also have price could also drop back into this territory in order to seek liquidity. And if there could also be demand back in this territory to continue to push price to the upside, we also have it that price may continue to move in that form of upside. All right, so you need to understand this. All right, so I'm going to be looking at this one with you guys step by step as well. So I'm also going to be looking at a possibility, because one of the features with the inlet wave is that we could also have price pattern change. All right, we might also have price pattern change. Say we could be having a push to the upside, and we could also be having a drop. All right, then we could be having what could also form an ABC. Say some kind of pattern such as this one. All right, so we might not in some occasions find price to be what actually it is. All right, we might be having this to form, say, a wave A, B, C of this kind of pattern will be called an expanded flat. Right, we could be looking at this as an expanded flat. All right, so if in this occasion we don't have price breaking below this point, say price stays around this point and then reverse, then we could be looking at this as a different kind of setup. All right, but definitely we might be looking at this as an irregular flat. All right, because definitely we have the price territory of B break above the origin point of wave A. Okay, and then we could be looking at that also happening to create an irregular flat. All right, we could also have that move to the upside. So however, I'm going to be looking at this one here, and I want to point it out that this is impulsive. All right, so whatever is going to be happening here, I would look at this as more of the corrective way if price would want to move into this zone, and I can also look at price then continue dropping down into this territory, because I want to see that. All right, I want to see that. And if price would move, say, in this format and then create another push to the upside, then I will be very glad to take that trade. All right, so I'm going to be looking at, if I'm looking at that, or if that also plays out nicely, I'll be looking at seeing price, a possibility that price would want to test 118 in the future. All right, but we are still in the bullish trend. All right, we are still in this structure to the upside. We are still in this bullish channel in here. All right, because here we have support, we have resistance, we have support, and also we could also be having that price could also move a little bit to the downside and then continue moving up to the next resistance. There is also a possibility. All right, there's also a possibility of that also happening. So what are we going to be looking to do in the week? We're going to be waiting for an opportunity for price to fade out. All right, but definitely you don't want to be in a hurry to buy this back. All right, you want to buy this back. right? You want to see price retrace a little bit, and then you can also look for sell opportunities right here, say a little bit back into this territory here, because this is a huge high demand area, and mostly in this kind of structure here, you want to see price act as a magnet right here. All right, you want to see price act as a magnet right there. So say we have, say, some sort of corrective pattern. All right, you want to see a corrective pattern, say, back into the zone, then we could be looking for sell opportunities back into this zone. I think this is the best time, this is the best territory to hop off of the trade and then not take any trade decisions until we have next valid opportunities. All right, so we'll look at Euro USD. What's also going on with Euro as well on this one here? Euro also proved to be very strong on Friday, having made a move to the upside against USD. I think that was one of the few pays that moved massively on Friday, as we also saw that Euro moved on the day 0.91% as compared to other currencies, which also moved 0.05%, and also we had USD CAD made a move to the upside on 1.11%. So we then saw on Friday we had more of massive weakness coming in with on CAD. All right, that would also be as a result of I would say it's also because of the crude oil drop in price, and as well you guys understand that CAD is a commodity pay picked on crude oil price. All right, so I would call it CAD is actually crude oil motivated. All right, so whatever is happening to crude oil price, that also will reflect on CAD price. All right, so if you have crude oil dropping, you will also be expecting that CAD would also be making a little bit of drop. All right, so if we go ahead to see what also happening with CAD index, which is also the CXY, that also played out differently with CXY. All right, it also reflected on the CXY. However, I'm going to be looking at more of a drop to still continue with CXY, because this territory of demand is not yet struck. All right, and I would say CAD have turned bearish. All right, CAD have turned bearish because of this setup here. We had support here, and whatever support or demand came into the zone cannot maintain this price to continue upside. However, price dropped to the downside. What I'm going to be expecting of CAD to do is to test this area, or however come close. Whatever is going to happen here, I'm going to look at this as a pullback. Then, because I'm going to look at the pullback, and then we can also expect that price would clear this range. All right, price can however clear this range to create an ABC corrective wave, and then we also have this to also continue to the upside. However, this could also clear and then turn to be a discount. All right, so we could also be having CAD provide a discount. All right, CAD could also provide a discount. All right, and then trade below the zone and then continue to upside. However, that could also create price to drop below the zone, and we might also see less demand for CAD, and we can also see this as a pullback, and then that can also further continue to the downside. So however this is going to turn out to be, we're going to be looking at price action, and we're going to be looking at candlestick formation. We're going to be looking at indications of smart money when they are in, what's winning in the day. All right, we're going to be looking at what's winning on this one here. If the bulls are winning, we're going to be looking at taking bullish decisions. If the bears are winning, we're going to be looking at taking bearish decisions. So whatever is going to be happening on this one here, I think this is going to reflect everything here. All right, so we're going to be looking at doing whatever the market is doing. Okay. All right, so we'll just go ahead then check this out. Okay, so we look at Euro USD. Euro USD on a monthly time frame looks just like this one. All right, so the monthly time frame we have Euro looking just like this one. All right, this looks rather different. All right, this looks rather different because of its make, right? And I point out many times that if price would fail, if demand or price action in this territory would fail, we might have Euro be trading back into the support of 1.075. All right, this was also a very massive demand area. All right, there was also a massive demand area far back in 2020, and we had price create demand here. However, there was also demand in this territory, all right, just below around 1.046. Also had demand inside of this territory around the 1.07. We also demand. So however, if we fail to have a new demand and whatever supply happened here, so we had demand, supply, demand, we had supply. So I'm looking at price contracting. I'm looking at the possibility that we might be having a contraction, say, inside of this territory, because we have I'm just going to put that, also show you guys what's also happening. So we have demand here, we have supply right here, we have demand right here. So in all these times, this new demand did not break below this one here. All right, so we have supply here, and we also have it that this one did not break above this one here. So we might also be looking at a possibility that price could also drop and then not break below this point here. If price would contract inside of this area, then I would really be happy to see where price would break into. All right, I really want to see where price would break into next. All right, I would really want to see where price would break into next, because that's going to be a decider. All right, that's going to decide the next move for. That's going to decide the next move for Euro USD. All right, so where will price break into? Will we be able to see this as a corrective wave impulse? We'll be looking at this as the next corrective wave, and then price could also continue to the downside. That's what I want to be seeing. All right, I want to see where price will break to next. All right, it's one of the biggest moves we're going to be seeing in the forex market after a long while. All right, so this is going to change the whole structure here. Right, we also had a massive change in structure when price dropped below this point here as a contraction here, and then drop below to downside. So we're going to be seeing the next massive change when price could also decide to clear either this structure. Once price breaks below this previous support here, we're going to be looking at bye-bye to this one. All right, we're going to be looking at bye-bye to this one, and we might also be having price drop into areas we've not seen in a long while. All right, might see price drop into 0 point. All right, breaking below the 1 point mark. So we look at what's going to happen for this one here. I think if the bulls are going to set in here, we might also be having bulls set in here, because if you guys remember this structure here was a very massive one here, also similar to this one here, which we took some trade decisions as well. Okay, if I just go ahead and put that up, this structure was the structure which, this is ECB structure. All right, so let me just go ahead and put out, this is ECB structure which I spoke about in one of my presentations, if the ECB is going to put euro to sleep. All right, so I don't know what you do to structures, or I don't know how you remember structures, all right, in your trading journey. All right, so structures are more of where you point out what also happened. All right, so there was no demand in here, and once price breaks through this point here, we could be looking at this territory as supply. All right, so if we have price push back into this territory or create one of the valid entry for a bullish momentum here, then we could be looking at price to want to test this territory here. Okay, we have price to want to test this territory, because this is a liquidity zone. It's point where we have lots of orders. All right, and we could also have that price could also come into that zone in order to decide the next move for Euro USD. So whatever is happening here, if we're going to be looking or seeing a possibility of a bullish bias, all right, probably if we're going to having a structure that creates a bullish bias for me, I'm going to be looking at euro moving back into that zone, right? So however, if that would not be the case, if I'm going to be looking at more of a bearish bias, then I would want to see price test this structure here. All right, that's going to be the last point. I'm going to be looking for opportunities. I'm not going to be trading anything inside of this territory if I have euros trading inside of this territory, because this territory here will be one of the biggest liquidity territory in euros history as well. All right, it's going to be one of the biggest. All right, because it's going to be a whole massive area, and I would not be able to say for sure what is going to happen inside of this territory because it's going to be a big one. All right, it's going to be a big one, and you don't want to be taking price action or price decisions inside of territories such as this one. We're going to be having about 335 pips range to work with. All right, it's crazy to work on this kind of territory. So better still, I'm going to be waiting for opportunities. If I'm going to be looking for bearish ones, right? But however, I'm going to be looking for bullish ones right now. Okay, because of this structure here, I'm going to be looking at bullish ones right now. So if we could also be having price, say we have price make a rush and then fake out. All right, I'm having price create a reversal pattern there. I'm going to be looking for short opportunities. All right, but if we have price, I'm going to look for short opportunities, and once that happens, as always, I take my trade decisions. What I do also in my trade, most times when I'm coming on a short position, say instead of this territory, I want to sell here. All right, I have my sell order there, and I have price move, say 20 pips down. What I'm going to be doing, my stop loss is going to be here. I'm going to shift my stop loss to break even point. I don't want to see price reverse and then hit my entry and then continue. I don't want to see that plus turn into minus. Rather, I want to see that plus turn into a small profit, and then I would look for next opportunity to take another short trend. I would really be glad to see my 12 stop hit here, and then I'm going to be looking for next sell, say instead of maybe here, back again to then sell back into that territory. I don't want to be seeing my plus on my chart turn into minus after I've moved 20 pips, 25 pips down. I don't want to see that. All right, that's crazy. All right, or rather, I would just close some positions. Say I have 100% of my positions, I will just close 50. All right, and then allow 50 to run. All right, similar to what I did on CHJPY as well last week. It was a wonderful one. All right, so we're going to be looking at GBPUSD. What's also going on with GBPUSD for this one? I want to say that for GBP, we've completed ABC. All right, we completed ABC down here. Okay, we've also completed internal structures of A, B, C, D, E. All right, so we completed A, B, C, D, E. So whatever is happening here, if we had price fell here as a double top to drop, we're going to be looking at point where we would have next demand. All right. We look at point where we have next demand. Okay. On the daily time frame, price looks just like this one here, and I pointed out some structures here because these are very important territories there. All right, I'm going to just show you guys why this is important to me, because this is 38.2 fib retracement and this is 61.8 fib retracement of this swing. So I'm going to look at price to test 38.2. If price won't drop in a hurry, I'll look at taking my final profit there. Okay, so we are still in the downtrend. All right, guys, remember this, I spoke about this structure here, and I want to take a short position here, and I did just that, and I'm still waiting for price to hit final profit. All right, so I'm just trying to stop there. All right, I don't want to see price reverse in on me. I don't want to see that. All right, if price would then go up, hit my draw stop, I will be happy because I've been able to capture some positions from this one. Say if I'm able to capture 30 pips from this one here, and I'm hit on my draw stop, then I would have successfully backed 30 pips. Right, I don't want to see price clear this 30 pips and then turn into minus, say 10 pips, 20 pips. You know, that's going to be so painful. So we're looking at more of bullish trend to still continue here. So this looks more bullish or more bearish, and would prove effective in the week to come. All right, it will prove effective in the week to come when this correction is actually complete. Right? When this correction is actually complete, whatever is happening here could also be a corrective wave. And once it's complete, I'll look at price to continue to the downside. All right, I'm going to look at that. Okay, so target is going to be around this territory here because it's going to be a wonderful territory here. 1.313 to 1.318. Going to be a cool territory. All right. Okay, so we look at the USD card. On Friday we actually had a massive weakness coming in on card, and we also had it that card created this structure here. However, what I did on Thursday, I wanted to take a trade on Thursday and actually waited a little while to see this play out. Okay, I wanted to see this play out on New York session, and I was able to complete this pattern here. All right, I was on a 5 minutes time frame, and I spotted this formation here very nicely. Okay, I spotted this formation nicely of 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. What I did was I got in a sell here, and when price dropped, breaking this point here, I shift my stop loss up here. So I had my trail stop right here. All right, and on that period I went to bed. Okay, so it was actually the close of the session, and I went to bed. All right, so on waking up on Asian session, I had it that price have gone up to touch my trail stop, so that also continued to the upside, and I wasn't really involved because I wasn't looking at this as a flag, but rather I was looking at this as points where we could also start having some bit of corrective wave to drop back into this point, right? However, this proved very strong, so I'm going to be leaving this to continue to walk up it further because I'm looking at USD to still continue its strength from the upside. So I don't know what levels we could be looking at for this one to continue. Okay, so we might be also seeing price continue upside. However, this is also going to be very important. All right, we're going to be looking at this as also being important. We're going to be looking at this territory right here because this territory here is a previous structure. Okay, so I'm going to be looking at this as important. All right, because remember guys, when we're looking at this upside here and we looked at this reversal here, we go back to my previous video, we looked at this reversal here. This was the high which we spoke about, and this was where we had point of failure. And for price to trade inside of this territory here, it means that we are looking at the possibility that price could also want to test. Let me just go change this. Okay, I don't want to see this on. Okay, let me just see this on a weekly time frame. All right, you could be looking at price to test this one here. So if price will want to do that, okay, if I want to do that, I think I want to see, all right, on a weekly scale. So we might also be having price run in to test that zone. Okay, price could also be on its way to testing the zone, and then we would have, I personally would have to wait because I don't want to be taking long around supply areas, and I don't want to be taking short trades with this kind of setup. Okay, it's really impulsive, and you don't want to be taking shots here, and you want to be taking long here because price could also bounce correct some sort here and then continue upside. However, you do know, and I don't want to be doing that. All right, I don't want to be doing that to myself, to my account. I don't want to be doing that. All right, so let's just take a little bit look at NZD USD. What's going on with this one, guys? I would really point out that we had what looked like a corrected wave here. All right, we had price break to the upside, price started falling here, okay, and around that point we had price failing to continue to the upside. However, on a weekly time frame, we could also expect that this could also be a failure, and we had AVC. We also had this pullback right here, and this is done, so we could also be expecting to see a next leg to the downside. All right, I will be expecting to see a next leg to the downside. So what I'm going to be doing for this one here, I'm not going to be in any rush to take a trade decision, all right, because we might also have price reject a little bit of here, move back into here, all right, in order to gather liquidity. So best thing I'm going to be doing for this one here toward the end of the month, okay, I'm going to be waiting for new direction. Okay, I'm going to be waiting for an opportunity to be able to take a good trade of a good risk to reward. All right, so if I'm going to be looking at taking position, I'm going to have to wait. Okay, I'm going to have to wait for price to fall back into territories which I like. Okay, so I feel there are sellers there. All right, I don't want to be selling in a buying market. I don't want to be buying in a selling market. All right, I don't want to be buying when the smart money are not buying. All right, You don't want to be doing that to yourself. Okay, so we had price in this territory, so we can't, personally I can't really say when next price is going to move to. But however, if I have a massive pullback next week, or say over some period I have massive pullback, say here, I'm going to look at what structure that will create. Possibly if it's going to be a corrective wave such as this one here, I'm going to be very happy to short. I'm going to put my sell stop below previous structure. I'm going to short to the downside. Okay, I'm going to be so glad to do that. All right, but however, for this one here, I'm going to be looking at more of a bearish momentum to continue. But for this one here, I can't be putting up any trade structure right now. All right, because it looks just quite odd. Okay. Okay, so we look at AUD USD. This also looks similar to NZD USD. Also looks similar because of its setup here. We also have ABC, and we have price breaking below price territories of B, and we have price trading down just where we have support here. So I'm not going to be taking this one here. I'm not going to be putting up analysis for this one here because it looks also odd. I'm going to be leaving this one here for some time to create new price structure. Okay, so we look at gold. What's going on with gold? Okay, gold, I've always pointed out that if I'm going to be seeing a bullish, if I'm going to be looking at bullish continuation for gold, or bullish upside, or I'm going to be looking at changing my bias for gold, I'm bearish on gold. All right, I'm bearish on gold. I want to see gold drop. Okay, I want to see gold drop back into sales. So when I had price trading above this zone here, I just spoke about this, that this is also a correction. So this could also be a corrective wave of the bigger trend, then this could also drop. So I'm looking at gold more of corrective than impulsive for this one here, until we have price clear this zone. All right, I spoke about it that this is a W leg. All right, this is an X leg. I don't want to be seeing gold. I don't want to be looking at bullish opportunities for gold. Right? I'm going to look for only bullish opportunities for gold. So what I'm going to be doing for this one here for gold, I am going to be looking for reasons. Okay, I'm looking for reasons. But this could also turn into a bigger correction, but I doubt that. All right, I seriously doubt that this could also turn out to be massive correction. No, I doubt that. All right, because in a structure such as this one here, if this is going to move up, this is going to be a reversal, and we can also expect that to continue. But definitely, I want to see gold drop more, little bit below this W zone. I want to see gold drop, say, into this territory 11600 area. I want to see gold drop trade inside of that zone. Okay, so for last week, the whole of last week, we also had that gold drop early in the week, and more of Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we had gold moving more of sideways, created what could have been an embedded head and shoulder here, and which I was not really concerned because I wanted to only short this one here. So for price to reject that, drop into this zone, I think hell of this point here, there are sellers. All right, so whatever is happening here, we can look at the pullback here, and then we can put up stop loss here, and then we continue selling gold back, because this is a very strong supply territory. As you can see that this faked out. Okay, this was notified with this move here. So this is definitely a selling market. If you're having price trading inside of this point, it's best time to look for price to drop downside. Okay, so this is also a similar example of a high A, B, C, because this is also A, B, C, D flat pattern, and we had price then drop, move to the upside. Okay, so this I'm looking at gold more bearish. So we look at USD Mexican peso. Okay, so the original design or original plan for using Mexican peso, I was looking at this as A, B, C, D, E. So I'm looking at this as WX. I'm looking at this as an A, B, C for a WXY. So however, price have then cleared above the extreme there. All right, so let me just go zoom in a little bit. For price to trade above this previous point here of 2140 territory here, it's a sign that whatever is happening here is definitely a wave 1. We have a wave 2, and this is the start of a new wave to move to the upside. All right. However, during this point, we're not taking transition, so we're looking at this as the start of a new wave to the upside. So whatever is happening here, if you have a perfect pullback, that would be the best time to look for long opportunities. Or if you can look at more in a smaller time frame, you can also look for setups that could also point out or set you up nicely for a bullish continuation to the upside. All right, so I'm going to be waiting for this one here. Best entry, I'm going to be waiting for a pullback. All right, so we had multiple bounds right inside of these territories here, and sometimes you understand that pullback may not come, but if I have a pullback back into this territory, I would really be glad to take a bullish decision right from that point. All right, so with that, wrap up this session. See you next time. It's been Michael here. Subscribe, like, and share with friends. That's the best. Thank you, and it will also help in the creation of more educational videos. Till next time, I love you all.